Recently, an unusual astronomical phenomenon has captured the attention of scientists and space agencies around the world. Interstellar comet 3 Atlas, the third interstellar object ever recorded to enter the solar system, has begun to exhibit unusual signs of motion and radiation. In response to this uncertainty, NASA has deployed an emergency defense probe to collect data and assess the risk level, a rare decision that reflects the seriousness of the situation. The name Atlas is more than just a designation. It is also the name of an advanced telescope program designed to detect potentially dangerous objects approaching Earth. Interestingly, it was this system that discovered 3I Atlas on July 1, 2025, using a half-meter telescope located in Chile in the context of the past decade, when we lacked instruments powerful enough to track interstellar objects at long distances. The coincidence between the name of the observing system and the name of the object has many experts wondering whether this is just a coincidence or related to the original research goal of the project. Most interestingly, initial measurements have shown that some of 3I Atlas's behavior doesn't quite fit with conventional comet physics model. This has led to a lot of speculation about the object's true nature, including cautious but not impossible theories about the possibility of an extraterrestrial technological origin. While there's no definitive proof, NASA's activation of a rapid response mission suggests that the agency is considering all possible scenarios. As the Christmas season approaches, the arrival of 3I Atlas into its more visible phase has inadvertently brought the phenomenon into sharper focus for the public and the scientific community. It's an opportunity to consider the big questions this object poses to our ability to see the universe. Is 3I Atlas just an unusual comet, or is it a sign of deeper mysteries in interstellar space? As NASA and international observatories continue to collect data in the coming weeks, 3I Atlas promises to be one of the most notable astronomy topics of the end of the year, opening up many discussions about the possibility of detecting interstellar objects and unanswered questions about their origins. Stay tuned, because what happens next will blow your mind if you are fascinated by the mystery of 3I Atlas and want to see more amazing cosmic stories. Hit that like button and let the universe know you are watching. Every click helps keep the quest for the unknown alive. Comment below and let me know where you are watching this video from. I want to see what corners of the world are witnessing this along with me. The sharpest images ever obtained by the Hubble Space Telescope have just brought a surprise that has shaken the world of astronomy. Instead of leaving a tail that stretches away from the sun like a normal comet, this mysterious object emits a strong light on the side that is directly facing the sun. This anomaly completely contradicts the current understanding of how solar winds affect icy celestial bodies. What has especially caught the attention of American scientists is its enormous size, equivalent to the island of Manhattan, and its estimated mass is at least 1,000 times larger than the 2 interstellar objects previously discovered. It is not difficult to understand why discussions in the US have begun to focus on the question of whether this is really a natural celestial body or a controlled technological architecture, perhaps even some kind of alien spy device moving in an orbit that is strangely aligned with the planets in the solar system. More dramatically, data recorded in September showed that the object's light had changed direction, now both facing the sun and radiating outward, as if it were fine-tuning its own behavior. At the same time, a research team in the United States has collected super-resolution images from the camera of the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter mission, which is famous in the American scientific community for being 3 times sharper than Hubble. The photos taken on October 2 promise to reveal unprecedented details about the object. However, until this November, NASA has not yet released the data. And what is causing a stir is that these photos were taken just one day after the temporary shutdown of the US government. In that context, many Americans began to question whether this was just a coincidence or whether NASA was keeping something sensitive. Observers are still waiting nervously because the perspective recorded by MRO could be the key to deciphering the true nature of the object, and perhaps evidence for something beyond all current scientific frameworks. Entering November, the interstellar object 3, I-Atlas, completed its closest approach to the Sun in late October, and is still not directly observable from Earth because it is behind the Sun. For American astronomers, this is not only a limitation of observation, but also a dangerous gap. During the time it was out of sight, did 3I Atlas make any suspicious orbital adjustments? This question is attracting the attention of not only the scientific community, but also the American media, which is always sensitive to national risk scenarios. If 3I Atlas is a technological construct, this could be a crucial stage for it to take advantage of the Sun's gravitational field to perform a strategic turn, a technique that NASA and other US space agencies use to accelerate spacecraft. Assuming 3I Atlas enters a completely new orbit after its Sun loop, this would immediately raise concerns in the US about the possibility of the object becoming a threat to Earth or the entire solar system. One scenario that has sent shivers down the spines of many American experts is that if 3I Atlas changes course, it could even deploy probes to other planets, opening an interplanetary reconnaissance campaign of the scale that humans have never faced before. In case this concern is confirmed, the US financial market, which is extremely sensitive to even the slightest signal of risk, could be affected immediately, even facing the risk of plummeting just because of information about a threat coming from space. American scientists rarely encounter situations where an object from outer space can directly affect life, the economy, or social psychology, but this case is outside the norm. Although the risk is low, if 3I Atlas is not a natural comet but a technological object, the consequences will be of the nature of a black swan event, an unexpected shock that can shake the whole system. Will 3I Atlas usher in a great scientific turning point or be the first warning of a danger beyond imagination? This November, America, from the laboratories to Wall Street, will wait for the answer. This forces us to ask a not so hypothetical question: what does a black swan event mean in a universe headed our way? It may be difficult for many people to connect the dots between an object from outer space and a stock market crash. Yet financial history has shown that markets react strongly to uncertain events, especially those that evoke a sense of collective helplessness. The threat of an interstellar object of any unknown nature could also create such a shock, not because it would surely destroy Earth, but because the uncertainty of the threat strikes at our greatest human weakness, fear of the uncontrollable. The current story reminds many American scientists of the fateful moment 66 million years ago when an asteroid the size of Manhattan Island struck Earth, wiping out the dinosaurs. It was a perfect example of how an object from the darkness of space can permanently alter the biological course of a planet. Dinosaurs, despite having dominated Earth for millions of years, had no idea that the heavens could deliver an extinction verdict. And ironically, we, with our advanced technology, radar, telescopes, and artificial intelligence, are facing a similar ambiguity. But at least humanity today has the tools to track objects that threaten to approach Earth, and that gives hope that if a natural disaster ever happens again, we won't be as helpless as those prehistoric giants. But all these beliefs only hold when we are talking about mere space rocks. Let's change the assumption. What if this object is not a rock, but a technological construct? What if it follows not a natural trajectory, but the deliberate decisions of an intelligence we have never encountered? Then all predictive models fall apart. We are no longer faced with an asteroid, but with the possibility of a blind encounter between stars, an unscheduled encounter with a visitor whose bearing we do not know, flowers or a knife. Hopefully it will be a friendly civilization, but the possibility of a hostile threat cannot be ruled out just as you hear a noise in your backyard and do not know whether it is the mailman or a murderer. So what should we do when faced with a strange visitor from the other side of the universe? It's a lot like the anxiety you feel when you see a shadowy figure standing in your yard at midnight and don't know whether they're going to walk up the steps or turn away. In that moment, self-preservation, vigilance, and the ability to react quickly become vital. Scientists, politicians, and policymakers in the United States understand this, but as scientists, the best advice is at the very least, we must prepare for the possibility of an interstellar visitor. To do that, it's essential to collect as much data as possible, because if this is alien technology, every clue counts. On a blind date, it is always advised to observe the other person before making any decisions. It is almost a golden rule. In current space science, we need to continue observing, recording, analyzing, and only act when we have enough data to understand what this object is, where it came from, and what its purpose is in the solar system, because sometimes it is patience and the ability to see the truth that determines whether we are preparing to welcome a guest or facing a threat from the darkness of the universe. In fact, with the US government having just gone through a shutdown and the tension still looming, it feels like we're in the middle of a literal perfect storm. If there really is a spacecraft, an interstellar mothership, or a technological construct that we haven't yet formally identified, this is certainly an unprecedented situation in the history of astronomy and US national security, which leads to the core question. Everyone wants to know what exactly are we dealing with? And if the possibility of alien technology can't be ruled out, are we ready? The potential impact on the US stock market makes the story even more serious. History has shown that even a vague threat from outside can cause markets to swing in a matter of hours. So how do we prepare for a scenario that is almost unimaginable? We have always thought about asteroids and space rocks, things that fall according to the laws of physics, but in an age where everything can change with a strange signal from space, the old approach is no longer enough. This is why many US intelligence experts believe we need to adopt a low-risk, high-consequence mindset. This is the approach the CIA, NSA, and other national security agencies have always used to prepare for rare but devastating events. If we are not prepared, surprise becomes the greatest danger, and yet we have never really developed a response scenario for an object that might have signs of alien technology, simply because we have always assumed that all threats from space are natural. Perhaps it is time to change that perspective. In this context, astronomy is entering a new era. Modern instruments, such as the Roybin Observatory in Chile, allow us to detect interstellar visitors passing through the solar system, this means that we are faced with objects that are not just familiar comets or asteroids, but perhaps structures of entirely new origin, carrying secrets that science cannot yet explain. The only preparedness strategy we can rely on right now is data. We need stronger surveillance systems, increased international cooperation, and emergency response plans. Not only scientists, but also politicians, financial institutions, and the media must be prepared for the worst case scenario. The most dangerous thing is not the object itself, but the human panic in the face of the unknown. All of this requires us to have a long-term vision and be prepared to face situations that human history has never experienced before. Because if one day we really have to face technology from another civilization, careful preparation will be the line between order and chaos. Meanwhile, all eyes are on 3I Atlas. Is it a mothership or just an interstellar object? Reports suggest that one of its tails is changing direction, making the American scientific community even more curious. We can't ignore its enormous size, equivalent to the island of Manhattan. With such an object, any potential impact on Earth makes experts cautious. 3I Atlas is even more unusual than we thought. It is at least 1,000 times more massive than the two previous interstellar visitors. It is hard to believe that such a large object could have appeared without any sign from afar, when we have previously detected much smaller objects. In addition, its orbital alignment with the planets in the solar system is only about 1 inch 500, which has led many to suspect that its orbit may have been fine-tuned in some way. Even more striking is that the object is emitting an unusual amount of nickel compared to iron, a rare feature since nickel is a key material in heat-resistant alloys which are often used in aerospace technology. If this is true, the hypothesis of its technological origin cannot be dismissed. However, the possibility that this is just a rare coincidence cannot be ruled out. Therefore, continued monitoring in the coming months will be crucial, especially to detect any unusual behavior, such as the launch of small probes or irregular orbital changes. On the Loeb scale, where 10 is definitely technological and 0 is completely natural, 3I Atlas is currently a 4. This means it is suspicious but not conclusive. If it shows any signs of unnatural movement, artificial light, or radio signals, we will have a clearer explanation. So far, that hasn't happened, but every observation device is still tracking its every move. 3I Atlas will make its closest approach to Earth on December 19, just a week before Christmas, giving many hope. It won't be an unwelcome visitor during the holiday season. This will be a golden opportunity to collect more data. Then, on March 16, 2026, it will come very close to Jupiter and Mars. In a solar system this large, such a coincidence of timing and position is truly inexplicable and raises the question of whether the orbit was intentionally adjusted. The answer may be coming. And as we track every signal from this mysterious object, the only thing humanity can do is observe, collect data, and prepare for every possibility, including the possibility that we will soon have a visitor from a very, very far away place. When discussing the possibility of building a spacecraft the size of the Atlas III, the first question is, who could build such a giant machine? And if not aliens, is there a civilization with technology far superior to humanity, capable of building and launching an interstellar spacecraft. The idea was first foretold in Arthur C. Clarke's novel A Rendezvous with Rama, where a giant cylindrical spacecraft flies into the solar system. Back then, it was just science fiction, but with the emergence of 3-2 Atlas, an object the size of Manhattan Island, that prospect suddenly seems closer than ever. Right now, the largest human spacecraft, like SpaceX's Starship, is just under 100 meters long. 3I Atlas could be 50 times larger. We don't have the technology or the energy to build something like that yet. But if you look at the history of the universe, the sun is just a young star. Other stars have existed for billions of years. That means that if there is a civilization that is a few billion years older than us, they have had enough time to develop technology we can't even imagine. In fact, at our current pace, it would take our Voyager spacecraft nearly 1 billion years to leave the Milky Way. A civilization billions of years ahead of us could have long since passed that limit, and if so, building a massive spacecraft like 3I, Atlas would be entirely feasible for them. That is why the question is the 3I Atlas, the mark of an unidentified advanced civilization, is more serious than ever. We are facing great mysteries of the universe, and only data can provide answers. From here, the issue expands to a larger question: is humanity preparing for its own future? Earth is always facing risks: asteroids, climate change, war, epidemics. We have not seriously built an escape hatch for human life beyond Earth. And if we want to do that, we just need to change the way we allocate resources. Today, the global military budget is $2, 4 trillion a year. If just a fraction of that were invested in space instead of weapons and war, humanity could build a habitat off Earth within a century. With the cooperation of engineers, scientists, and architects, a human space base is no longer impossible. In the long run, 1 billion years or more, it is not only possible but almost certain that humans will live off Earth if we make this a priority. Other civilizations could have done this a long time ago because they simply had more time. The question is whether humanity is willing to change its priorities. If 3I Atlas does reveal another advanced civilization, it will be a powerful wake-up call. We are not the smartest kid on the block, and when we realize that it may be time for humanity to stop wasting resources on conflict and start cooperating to ensure its own long-term survival. Ultimately, we are all on the same planet, on the same fulcrum in the vast universe. If we choose cooperation over confrontation, humanity will not only secure its future, but will also open the door to a new era, one in which we will not only observe the universe, but actually enter and exist within it. The question is whether we can decipher this object before it reaches Earth, or whether it is a sign of a civilization that is technologically older than us and has been in space for a long time. Either way, this is certainly a powerful wake-up call and an opportunity for us to step up research, global cooperation, and think about the future of humanity. We hope that future research will help to clarify these questions. If you are interested in theories about Atlas and other mysterious cosmic phenomena, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to stay updated with the latest information. Share your thoughts and theories in the comments, as we are witnessing one of the greatest stories of modern science. Together, we will continue to explore the unknown, because the universe has many mysteries waiting to be solved